Welcome back to part 4 of our live training session here with our all-wheel drive turbocharged B-Series Civic running on an Elite 2500. In our last video, we got the engine successfully fired up and running and idling, and we checked the timing. So we know everything's good. We know we're ready to move on to the next part, which is going to be focusing on our part throttle cruise area of driving. This is where we spend probably 70 or 80% of the time when we're running our engine and doing our driving. So we need to make sure this is right. We're going to learn how to calibrate our main fuel table, our main spark timing table within our part throttle cruise area of operation. We're also going to be taking a look at how to optimize our injection timing as well. There's other things we're going to cover in this training tutorial, but that's the major ideas or topics that we're going to be focusing on. So without further wait, let's jump into our video so we can check this out. Welcome back to our live training session here with our all-wheel drive turbocharged B-Series Civic. Now, in the last video, we sorted out our idle control. We know that we checked our timing with a timing light. We know everything is good to go. So the engine can fire up and hold its own idle, and we know that we can start the process now of doing further calibration in our tuning. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here in this video is setting up and working with our part throttle fuel tuning. We can go into our main VE table here and make sure things are calibrated right. Now we're going to be working with our closed loop in order to guide us in making the changes to update our VE table. What that means is that we've already scaled out our injectors. We've already set our injector latency, so we should see all that values are correct and that are relatively accurate. And now we can move into making sure we're estimating the amount of volumetric efficiency that's coming from our main fuel table. So we'll have our target air fuel table that we've set here already. We know part throttle, essentially we're looking at 14.7 target air fuel, and as we go up higher in load, 12.8, 12.2, and to 11.2, so we get richer and richer as we go up into positive manifold pressure here. We'll find that this is going to be used for the closed loop routine. So we're going to be taking a look and paying attention to our short-term fuel trim and our O2 bank 1 feedback. So whatever this is showing us, if it's adding or subtracting, that means that we need to either add or subtract against our main fuel table because we have things off in here. Now this is a generic table. We've just essentially set our idle conditions when we were building our base map, so we have that all kind of dialed in at idle but off idle. So everywhere else here, so this is going to be off idle, this is going to be off idle. This area of the table here we have to go in and focus on calibrating. Now we're going to be staying away from going into positive manifold pressure. We're going to be calibrating this portion of the table in the next video. That's going to be doing wide open throttle tuning, or the start of our wide open throttle tuning process. So we want to slice down the calibration process into getting the engine up and running, getting it idling, making sure that's stable, then moving into part throttle driving. Make sure that is 100%. That's actually where you spend usually about 80 to 90% of your time actually driving your vehicle. So you need to make sure this is right. Then we can move into full throttle tuning. So it's always moving in small steps in the calibration process. We don't want to just jump into doing full throttle tuning where we haven't touched our part throttle tuning. So we want to move in these steps. So we are going to be focusing our attention essentially in this area of the table here, doing our calibration process, paying attention to the short-term fuel trim and calibrating out these VE values so they're hitting the target air fuel that we'd like. Now, the other part of this that we need to take a look at as far as our fuel delivery goes, we have injection timing. The injection timing is going to be when we spray our injector, or timing the injector to spray against our intake exhaust valve opening and closing events. We actually jump down in here to our injection timing table here, so we are firing angle table. We see this table's all set at 360 degrees. Now we've selected end of injection reference when we set up our base map. So under setup, main setup, under fuel, we can find that we have the choice between EOI or SOI, end of injection or start of injection. We always want to choose end of injection as our option here for injection timing, and that's going to allow us to look at our values here in the way that we've described in the training course. So 360 degrees is where we actually want to start the injector to spray. Even though it's called end of injection, it's a little bit confusing. It's called end of injection because we move backwards from our compression stroke, where 0 degrees is our TDC between our compression and our power stroke. We're going backwards in the auto cycle. So it's actually saying where we want to start our injection. 360 degrees in here starts our injection at the point where the piston's at TDC between the intake and exhaust strokes. We want to go in and start to spray our injector here. Now, this is a default value that works for any engine. It allows you to calibrate your main fuel table. Then we can come back in here and evaluate these values and see if we need to change them and optimize them, because we can find if our air fuel richens up as we're changing these values, that means that we're optimizing our injection timing point. We can go back into our main VE table and reduce down some of our VE, or the estimated airflow, reducing down the injector pulse width, which is going to give us more fuel economy and make the engine more fuel efficient. All things we want to do with our calibration process. So we first have to tune our main fuel table. Then we have to go into our injection time and take a look after we've optimized main fuel table, injection timing, Then we can move into taking a look at our transient throttle or acceleration enrichment. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.